scholarships the way you can get scholarships or aka money from colleges is all down, or even not just colleges, from different places, different companies and other organizations. It comes down to four things usually. The most important one is usually academic/test scores, but being able to play sports, instruments, or even types of artistic skills as well, anything really, can also help contribute to getting scholarship money. For me, mainly it was academics because a lot of my stuff was focused around that because I am not athletic at all. I knew I was not going to get very far with that. So a lot of my scholarships came from academics, and the reason why I went to UConn is because they offered me so much scholarship money that thankfully I barely needed to pay them anything to be able to go to school there. And scholarships can also, and like this all also comes down to how much acceptances you're going to get from different colleges and stuff like that. Just quick FYI, Ivy Leagues and top tier colleges usually do not give merit scholarships. It's entirely dependent on how much money your family earns. So be careful when you're applying to those type of colleges, because don't waste money on application fees. Even if you are a stellar student, if you can't pay the amount of money that they're asking you per year, then don't apply unless you are absolutely certain you want to take that route. Being in debt isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it makes you a lot less stressed when you don't have to worry about it. But regardless, you can pretty much get scholarships from anything. I got mine from a multiple amount of different things. I got a robotics scholarship, I got an engineering capstone scholarship, and then I got a lot of my scholarship from a STEM Scholar Award from UConn. So for me, it was all merit-based. And a lot of my scholarships are from different places that I applied as well. Like, for instance, I applied to this one, I applied to that one. It might seem impossible, but like just apply to as many scholarships as possible. I applied to like roughly 60 or 70 scholarships in total in my senior year. It's worth it just to get even a little bit of money that'll help pay for textbooks or any extra fees that the college might need when you're learning and stuff like that is going to be so worth it, because you'll actually be able to better take care of yourself in terms of being able to pay for all this. So definitely just apply to as many scholarships as you can and be able to make sure to really boost your resume so that you have a lot of stuff to show. Where can students find scholarships? This is entirely dependent on where you are in schools, but like for me personally, your school will probably offer you like a local scholarships list that you could apply to. Make sure to always apply to the local scholarships because you have a higher chance of winning those than the national ones. And for scholarships in general for colleges, you don't really apply to those unless specifically stated, like unless the college specifically states you need to. And most of the time, colleges give you scholarship money based on your actual application and just like your grades and your resume and all that kind of stuff. And in terms of finding national scholarship or state scholarships, that literally is just Googling and doing a lot of research. Make sure to not apply, like make sure to not apply to scholarships that are usually like no essay, or like don't ask you for your resume, or it's like no name scholarships or no essay scholarships. Those are scams. Please don't apply to those unless they're like actually credible from like companies and stuff like that. And also just apply to like different companies and stuff like that. The chances of you winning those scholarships are incredibly low, but it's worth applying to them, especially to like more local companies. It's just like, just keep applying to like as many of them as possible. It's even though like the chances depending on like national, like it's like the chances of you winning scholarships is entirely dependent on like not only your resume and your grades, but also like if it's a national scholarship, your chances are pretty low. If it's state, you have a pretty higher chance. If it's local, you have a pretty high chance. And when it comes to your college, you pretty much have a decent chance at getting scholarship money, especially if your grades are higher and your SAT scores are higher. And if you did a lot of like STEM extracurriculars and stuff like that, depending on if it's STEM or not, or whatever idea or major that you're specifically chasing after. Same question, where did you apply for the scholarships? Literally, I just researched a lot of different like local and state and a couple of national scholarships. And once again, your school will probably post like local scholarships available that you could apply to. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then sometimes like also research the colleges that you're applying to and see if they have like any other scholarships that you apply for. Like for instance, like there's robotics scholarships. Like if you're in first or like participating in like a first team, you are eligible for so many scholarships. So make sure like depending on what extracurriculars you do, you're also eligible for a bunch of different scholarships. Scholarships are literally just all about doing a lot of research. So just making and organizing in like a nice table, which ones are worth it and which ones aren't.